In previous video we were see that what is use effect, how we should use it, when the call back function called, and so on. This video is the extension of that video, that previous one. Here we will see when we should use cleanup function, when we should use cleanup function. So before that, what is cleanup function? So basically cleanup function is a function used in a callback function of use effect hook, which is used to clean up that function, right? For example, cleanup basically means remove. Cleanup basically means remove. So let us see that with the help of example. So in our purely JavaScript, means when we are making a website using HTML, CSS and JavaScript only, at that time we were using set time interval or set timeout, right? And we want to use that function in the React also. Then how we can use that function in React? You may use without use effect like this, set time. Let's take set in time interval. It will take function and the time. Let's give 1 second. Here 1000 means 1 second. Console.log timer. Let us save it. See, now here it's printing, which is good, but we should use this set interval inside use effect. Why we should use effect? Why we should use, let me write it. We should use set time in set interval in use effect. Why we should use set interval in use effect? Let's not use the set interval in use effect and see what it's causing problem. For that, let me refresh this page. See, now here it's printing. Let me add timer here, a random value, so that each time it print random. Can you see? Previously I was printing only timer, and now I printed timer with a random value. Here it's printing the both. See here, timer and only timer and timer with a random value, right? But it should print only one, because the previous one should eliminate, right? It did not eliminated, because when I when I updated that program, like when I added some value here and saved it, then it's refresh, but the previous set interval did not uh, clean up this component, re-render, and a new method added. Now it's causing problem, because it's now it is in dual nature, printing two things. Now let's add some For that, let us make to see actually what it's happening. Let's make a variable state. Let me close this up for now. Use state, it's 0. Here it will have value. Button increase. Set value +1. Let me save it. Here one local storage. Yes. See, till now it's only printing this timer, right? It's printing timer, only one timer, two timer at once, because this is the behavior in development mode. It will print two times. But let me increase the value 1. Now see, it printing two times. How I can let me, okay, so to see the proper effect, let me make a count is equal to 0, and here it will count plus, not the random value, here count. See, here it's printing 7, 8, 9, 10. It's increasing one by one. In each second, this function is running, and each time its value is increasing by 1, right? But when I increase the value, see, now it's printing two things: 5, 4, 32, 30, 11, 35, two different values. Because when I increases here value, the component re-render, right? When it's re-render, a new set interval sets on the browser. That's why it's printing two value, 31, 55, right? If I increase the value by here 1, now it will print three things. Again it's a start from 0, because it's re-render, and that the previous one, then again previous one. Now its behavior is changing. It's printing three times, because we have re-rendered that component three times. To make this work perfectly, we should use that set interval in useEffect. Then how it will eliminate that problem? Let's see. Now we know that why we should use why we should use because to clean up the previous added, what I can say, set interval, add event listeners, release the release the resources. Why we should use to clean up the function to release the resources? Let's see how we should use that in useEffect. So this is the here we should use it. We should store that timer value inside a variable so that we can clean up. Return, this is the return function, and clear timeout. Which timeout? Timer. Now let's refresh that and let's see. Do we have the same problem? It's printing 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, no any duplicates value. Increase it. Yes, it's printing accurately. It is not causing any problem. See here, it not causing problem. Why? Let's see. First of all, when it will run only one time when the component mounts, right? So when the component mounts, this function executed, a new set interval will be added, right? After that, it's at it render, it will not run that function because there is no any dependency which changes. So the first, this is this is how it's changing the solving that problem. Since at every render it's not running the callback function, it's not running this set interval, that's why there is no any new set interval timer, right? Second thing, suppose it were like at each value change this function runs, right? And there is no any return, suppose. Now it will create problem. See, it's printing 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There is no any problem. But when I changes, it will print. Again the same issue. Why? Because when the value changes, it sets the new timer. Again we are facing the same problem. To still solve that problem, we must use this cleanup function. Now see, it's printing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 normal. When I increase the value, it's printing 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See, now the problem gone. There is no any conflicting. How it's solving? Let's see. So whenever this value change, right, before running this callback function, this one, firstly it's run this cleanup function. Now what this cleanup function is doing, it's cleanupping the previous one, this timer. So before adding the new one, it's removing the previous one. That's why here we can say only one timer at a time. This is how it solves the problems. Now, what are the scenarios when in which this cleanup function run? Like when did it run? This cleanup function, when will it run? So it will run in two cases scenario. first, when when value changes, when it's any one dependency change, and second, before on mounting the component. Let's console it and see when it's clean up. I saved and now I refresh it. First, it's run cleanup function for the previous one. There is no any running of cleanup function, but when I change the value, see here cleanup function run. That's why it's printing cleanup. When I again change value, cleanup function runs. So these are the two scenario when cleanup function run. So and what are the function? What should be the functions in cleanup function? Like what we should clean up. So we should clean up this timer, and we should use it when we are explicitly adding manually event listener using useEffect. Sorry, using add event listeners like this one. Const, let call it as a windows dot add event listener scroll CROLLING scrolling, and we should remove windows dot remove remove event listener, that is what a scroll a. Let me save it. When I scroll, since there is no any scrolling buttons, I need to make it class name. Here height should be a screen. We need to keep two things so that it will scroll. Yes, it's not working. Why? For that we need to see windows dot. Oh, okay. So this one here I should call that a function. Yes, when I scroll, it's printing, and when I click, it should clean up function. Yes, it's cleaning. It's using that cleanup function. It's okay. It's running completely fine. So here we can see. Let me see more on this. Here we can see what are the where it gone, add event listeners. Yes, here it is. Okay, so let me, how did I added the function? Or okay, now I need to remove. Here is the function. Let me define a function. This is how we define an anonymous function. A is running. Okay. Now I have added event listener explicitly using Windows. Windows dot add event listener scroll A. And we should clean up that A as well. See, here it's working fine. So here I have added a event listener on the Windows, and whenever and we are cleaning it up. Why? Because suppose it were not clean up, so at each time this function runs, this one, it's a new event listener will be added, which will leads to memory leak, right? To prevent this memory leak, we should use cleanup function. This is how we use cleanup function. So firstly, there are here we have two cleanup function. First for timer and second for this this one event listener. So whenever the value changes, first this function will be called. After that, this function will be called. So this function will be remove the previous one event listener and set timeouts. After that, this function will be called and a new event listener will be added. So we must use event listen remove cleanup function. We must use cleanup function. So this is for use effect.